to this pre-Connectathon interaction session. We are all excited on the various activities which have been planning the last 2 years, and this is perhaps the first FIRE e-Connectathon what the country is doing. So we have been very active, vibrant body which has been interacting with the community, basically the developers and also the industry members who are serving both the country as well as for offshore development for countries abroad and companies abroad. So as a next step towards building the community and also to bring about more involvement and participation for adoption and development of HL7 standards, HL7 has been doing connectathons wherein companies come together for a 3-day event, work on various use case scenarios and demonstrate the ability of their products for compliance with HL7 standards. And as a next step, we thought we'll take this forward and do it for FIRE profiles and FIRE standards. And this is our first initiative towards that in the country, and which HL7 has been doing for some time now. And towards this, we have planned an event in the next month, early next month, as you all know, 3rd, 4th, 5th. The idea is to bring in like-minded companies and to develop competencies, and also it's an opportunity for us to interact with the companies and also handhold wherever is required. And this is basically a community development initiative.
Thank you, Dr. Chandal. It's a pleasure being here with all my colleagues here, Dr. Arun Kumar, Professor Supten, Kumar Satyam, Manish, and Aniruddha Nene. And this is an eclectic group of people coming together, all for one purpose. The purpose is to be able to integrate the nation's systems and to be able to showcase to the purchasing community, the client community, that we are actually interoperable. And once we show that we are interoperable, we could actually show the commercial value for our clients. And this goes beyond just the ability to be commercial. This goes towards the fact that we are looking to see how systems can contribute towards interoperability for better clinical outcomes. It all ends up with that, clinical outcomes. And we in the health tech industry, we always have arrived at the conclusion that information is key to any care, and information at the right time, the right manner is most important. And every one of us that have our own solutions, unique solutions. But then we need to have a commonality. And that commonality is what has been achieved through HL7. And to be able to demonstrate for ourselves and to the world, we are trying to see how we can all come together at the same time to be able to showcase our integration capabilities.
With this, we go to Professor Supten to get a dump of what are the standards available in India, applicable in India, and how do we use them in our interoperability. So over to you, Professor Supten.
Thank you, Satyam, and welcome everyone. I think I won't use any presentation, so I'll just share the history. I mean, how has India been working the standards pathway? Actually, the very first document that came in India, that was on the Information Technology Infrastructure for Health, or ITIH, that came out in 2003. And there the 3 major pillars which were shown for this health information technology. One was a legal framework, one was standards, the other was education. Legal framework, of course, we are still waiting for, although the National Health Policy 3rd edition in 2017 mentioned that the National Digital Health Authority will be set up, but it's almost 3 years gone. It's yet to be there. Of course, there are certain other laws related to this, like the Personal Data Protection Act coming soon, but we are still not there. Education, capacity building, training, retraining, change management. And in fact, I think Connectathon is an excellent example where we also get hands-on training. And really, as Manik said, we get friends, we get people to know, and how can interoperability really increase the business? It's not just that, but also the health outcomes will become better. That's an extra advantage which we should all look for.
Hello everybody. I'm Manisha Mantri, representing National Resource Center for EHR Standards today, and also supporting this Connectathon for HL7 India. And I look forward for a greater participation in this event, and look forward for more user community to come on the board and demonstrate and showcase interoperability and get a feel of conformance to the standard and see how it can be further utilized for the greater need of the country and towards this dream to come true, having a single health ecosystem with all the healthcare applications interoperating with each other, which is well documented in National Digital Health Blueprint. Thank you.
With this, we'll go to Ani, Mr. Anirudh Nene, who will talk about the Indian ecosystem, the startup ecosystem and the healthcare ecosystem, and how does he see FHIR fitting in there. Over to you, Ani.
Hi, everybody. This is Ani here. Thanks, Manik. And I will take a clue from Manik's talk that yes, finally this Connectathon or whatever exercise we are doing is to showcase larger capability, not in silos, but end-to-end capability of IT system to the purchasing parties. And we are trying to create a commercial sense to all these offerings. So that is the main initiative. And I really appreciate Manik mentioned that. I would take it a little further because I represent here Indian healthcare informatics vendor community. I myself was a part of a healthcare informatics company since 2006. So I've seen the technology evolution, the ecosystem evolution, and where we stand today in terms of these standards and supporting infra, like Dr. Supten mentioned, legal framework or standards framework, education framework. So all these are supporting frameworks. Now, we are getting a lot of queries from a lot of participants who would like to join, and a lot of acquaintances, because we are promoting this digitally along with HL7 India to reach out to various levels of companies, maybe well-established companies, MNCs or IT companies exporting software. At the same time, the big startup community India has developed. And again, they get the same question saying that what is in it for us? Now, that's where we thought we have to do it a little differently. So as you might be aware that we have a specific track in HL7 India Connectathon known as NCII track. So the theme is very much practical. We thought of teleconsultation, which is now rampant in lockdowns, in restriction in traveling from home to busy OPD of a clinician. And remember, this is going to remain for a long time. Even after COVID subsides, or we don't have, we shift from, in Mumbai, we shift from red to orange to yellow or whatnot, and to green finally, eventually, hopefully. Still, I would be worried to take my kid to a very crowded OPD of a pediatrician. So this is something, a fundamental shift that will force us to take some measures. So Telemedicine Society of India is already working on some of the changes with government. And when I talk to people like Dr. Supten, he says that what could not be done over a decade, that COVID did it in few months. So there are enforced conditions which will force us to think in a different way. So this telemedicine and teleconsultation, which was a kind of slowing down because of legal hurdles, because of doctors having a particular mindset of seeing their own busy OPD and patient queuing up, and there is no sense of scheduling intentionally or unintentionally. So we want to introduce this model for a kind of spot appointment. So I'm a patient who is feeling like I have symptoms similar to COVID, and I want to consult someone because otherwise there's no one. And earlier this situation for telemedicine was valid only for remote military camps or extremely distant periphery villages, etc. Now it is happening even in the city center, right? So it is a very practical and real situation. And there is a big market for that if we solve that. The problem is that there is no interoperability. So just like Ola, I want to travel somewhere. There is a cabbie waiting for a traveler, for a passenger. We are just one lane away, but we don't know each other. So Ola connects us together and problem solves for the cabbie as well as for the passenger. Similarly, we would introduce this use case, whoever is ready. We are trying to induct telemedicine platforms on one side and providers. I mean, there are some hospitals who would like to arrange consultation for their patients, inpatients or COVID hospital, containment areas, containment zones, where there is a demand for service. And here is the supply, telemedicine platforms. And we're trying to bring them together, right? And bring them together, removing the sense of competition or whatnot. I tell them that, look, we are not talking or advertising you as a product, but look at the big market. If you participate together and solve this problem for the country, naturally this business model will continue. And then you improve your product features, if you improve your offerings, but the framework is already created. The use case is already demonstrated. And there is a huge growth potential.
Now I'll take you to a story, right, and my personal story, right, and this will relate to all the things that have all the panelists have talked, right, and we start from so I was in startups, and most of the times I was doing things, right, just hacking around things and doing things, till I went into a bigger company, GE, where I got introduced to geeks and where I got introduced to IHE and all the things, right. And there I understood the value of standards, right? Prior to that, HL7 was just pipe separated values for me. DICOM was just a binary data object, kind of, right? So how the interest in FHIR came in was, and this is also the story of HL7 India and how we build upon the FHIR story in India. So in the year of 2016, Keith Boone is one of the leading interoperability experts. He came to India. And while he was in India, we requested him to give a talk on FHIR, because FHIR was upcoming standard. It was FHIR, as you know, was conceptualized in 2011 and launched in 2013, right? So Keith agreed readily, and HL7 India organized the first FHIR for developers and executives in 2016. So that's where the journey of FHIR started in India, right? But not much happened till the time again came, and then in 2019 we said, like, now FHIR is mature, R4 has released, and even the NDHP and the government is talking about FHIR, right? And we also saw a lot of downloads happening in India on the FHIR standard, and people all over the world were talking, okay, the maximum downloads on FHIR libraries happen in India, from India, right? Having said that, what we thought was, let's do the awareness session. So the first awareness session that Arun, Aditya, myself, and Dr. Chandil planned was in October 20th, exact date of 2019, where we did a FHIR open house. It was attended by close to 70 people, and some of you would have attended that session also. So that was our first real push for FHIR in India, to just educate people and see the interest. We saw tremendous interest, right? Then we said, okay, only Bangalore is not enough. Like, let's do something, let's go all across. So then we went to Chennai. And again, the same team teamed up with Manik, and we had another grand session in Chennai. Again, there it was attended by around 70 to 70 to 80 people, something like that, right? So we were seeing tremendous amount of interest, and most of the interest was coming from developers and also the business leaders, and they were talking about what is this fire? How do we get to do it? What is it relevant to India? All these sorts of questions were coming up, right? So with that in mind, and NDHP published, as Professor Supten mentioned, what we did was we started fire meetups, a series of events in Bangalore, physical face-to-face meetups of technology enthusiasts, fire enthusiasts, on one Saturday every month. And we started from Philips in December. First was in Philips. Second, if I'm not wrong, it was in Life Trains. Then it went to CTS Tech, and we were like, our community was growing. The first event was attended by around 15 people, first meetup, and till the last event before the COVID struck, we had grown in strength to 40 people, 40 regular participants in each meetup. Okay, and we were doing real work. We were trying to do profiles for India. Like if fire had to be used in India, what would be its shape and size? How would it look like? So that was the initiative that we were doing in those meetups. Okay. So now with the COVID coming in, and we had the work already done, right? So it was the right time for us to now see what next. We have the body of work done. Let's put it in front of the people, in front of the crowd, and let's do something where we can actually test what we have built, what we think would work for India. Also educate people on what the fire standard is, and if there is some other development happening in the standards community on fire, let's bring all the people together. With that thought in mind, we conceived the idea of having a fire connectathon in India, right? The idea was very simple. It was to build a community of fire experts, interoperability experts in India, people who are enthusiastic about interoperability, and also build not just for India, but also for the world. Because if you see most of our workforce, as Manik and others mentioned, cater to the Western world, right? So they also need to learn, right? So it was a win-win, right? So we just take this up, get some outcome, train people, and also do something for India. So that was the whole idea behind coming up with this fire connectathon. Now, just elaborating 2 or 3 points about the connectathon, what we are planning to do in India, and it would be not in the exactly the same shape and size as Manik and Professor Supten mentioned, because we are doing it for the first time in India. So we have tweaked it. Okay. So the fire connectathon has tracks for everyone. Okay. So we have a track called fire starter track that Ani mentioned. So the fire starter track is for anyone who wants to know what is fire and wants to get their hands dirty and see like, okay, if I have to build fire, what all things I need to do, right? So getting started from basic of getting a response and request from fire to at the end, the intent is when you walk out of those 3 days or 2 days, you get a solid understanding of what fire is, what is it's capable of, how to work with fire. So whether you are an executive or you are a product manager or an engineer, right? That track is useful for anyone, whoever wants to get onto fire. Then there are experts in fire, right? So people who have already worked on fire, right? For those, we have a couple of tracks. First track is fire profiling track. The profiling track takes care of the body of work that we have done in the meetups, take them and get into the community, the participants. And then we build on top and see, test it, validate it, and make sure that the fire profiles that we have built will work for India, right? So that is the another second track. The third track, again, it's a hands-on track, is the NCIA teleconsult COVID track that already Ani explained in detail. So I'll not get into details of it, but that is a track where you will actually test out a platform which is built on top of fire, right? Each of these tracks that I'm talking about, you have exponential learning, and you don't have to be an expert. Okay. Then there is a track. So one of the questions that came up was, India has a lot of systems, right? And they are V2, like HL7, they speak HL7. And putting them onto FHIR will be tough and it will be a lot of cost. We said, okay, let's have a V2 to FHIR track where we will experiment and learn how to do convert HL7 messages to FHIR and vice versa. So we have that track as well. So if you are an expert on HL7 messages and you want to see how it works in FHIR, that track is for you. Or the vice versa. If you have FHIR, you have a knowledge of FHIR and you want to see how to fit it to HL7 world, that track is for you. And there is one more track that we are discussing is the terminology track. That track is about all the standard coding tracks. Like for example, we talked about SNOMED in this discussion today. SNOMED, ICD, LOINC, all these terminologies are there. How are they used in FHIR? And how can you make use of them? So there is a track for that as well, right? So in total, we are thinking of 5 tracks, and this track covers the entire breadth of experience that, so whether you are a beginner or an expert, you have a track for yourself. So that's guaranteed. Not only that, what we are saying is the learning is not just for the 2 days within the event, but actually we are starting the pre-Connectathon preparation from the week of 15th, means from the next week. So if you have registered, you can very well join any of the tracks in their preparation and actually learn exponentially when you are actually helping build those tracks, right? So that's the value prop if you register early. You not only do 2 days, but you actually get 20 days of learning with the experts. So that's the short story about what is this Connectathon, how did it came into being, and what we intend to do out of it. I will hand over the mic to Arun, who will talk about the registrations and how do you go about participating in the track. Over to you, Arun.
Hi, thank you, gentlemen. And it's been really nice to be part of such a forum. As far as the registration is concerned, there is a link that has been shared on HL7 India website. Once you click on this link, you will be taken to the payment gateway. And within the payment gateway, you are required to choose one of the options. If you are a member, there's a separate link. If you're a non-member, there's a separate link. So select the appropriate link, make the payment, fill out the relevant details. Not much of details is there. And once you have made the payment, you can expect a receipt in 4 to 5 working days. Once you have received this receipt, you will be added to a mailing list and you will start receiving emails from our organization. This is the process. If you have any further doubts, you can always reach out to me on my email. My email is secretary@hl7india.org.